Hi, and welcome to the City of Brisbane Park and Recs Commission meeting, Wednesday, October 12th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. We're starting at 6:32. This meeting is compliant with the Ralph M. Brown Act as amended by California Bill number 361, effective September 16th, 2021, providing for a public health emergency exception to the standard teleconference rules required by the Brown Act. The purpose of this is to provide a safe environment for the public, staff, and commissioners while allowing for public participation. The public may address the commission using exclusively remote public comment options. The commission may take action on any item listed in the agenda. The Park and Rec Commission meeting will be an exclusively virtual meeting. Members of the public may view the meeting by logging onto the Zoom webinar listed below or on Comcast Channel 27 and the city's YouTube channel at http://youtube.com/BrisbaneCA. The agenda materials may be viewed online at www.brisbaneca.org/meetings. Join the Zoom webinar at www.brisbane.org/parks-rec-webinar. Meeting ID number 920-4174-1911. Passcode is 123456. To address the commission, the members of the public are encouraged to submit written comments before the meeting. Members of the public who join the live Zoom webinar may address the commission in the meeting when called upon by the chairperson. Please use the chat box in the Zoom to alert staff that you want to address the commission. Members of the public watching the meeting on YouTube or Channel 27 may email or text comments prior to the start of the particular agenda item to the below email and text line. Email is jbondoc@brisbaneca.org, and the text is 415-519-9588. A call-in number is also available for those watching the meeting on the YouTube or Channel 27 for oral communications and public hearing items. Phone number is 1-253-215-8782. Meeting ID 920-4174-1911. After entering the meeting ID and pressing the pound sign, simply press pound a second time to enter the meeting waiting room. No participant code is required. Please wait to call until the chairperson and/or staff announces that the phone line is open. When you are let into the meeting, press *6 on your phone to unmute yourself before addressing the commission. To avoid feedback, please turn off the volume of the meeting broadcast on your TV or computer. You will still be able to hear the commission through your phone. Special assistant. If you need special assistance to participate in this meeting, please contact the Park and Rec Department at 415-508-2140 in advance of the meeting. Notification in advance of the meeting will enable the city to make reasonable arrangements to ensure accessibility to this meeting. And I shall now call this meeting to order. Roll call.
All right, let's do it. Starting with Chairperson Greenlee.
Here.
Commissioner Comerford.
Present.
Commissioner
Present.
Commissioner Kern.
Present.
Commissioner Sewell.
Present.
And Commissioner Sims.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Adoption of agenda. Deletions, additions, or changes. Anyone have anything? Okay.
Did I move to approve?
I think so.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, so the agenda is approved. And now we need to approve the minutes of September 14th, 2022. There's an attachment below.
Before we do that, we do need to do the roll call on the adoption of the agenda.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead with that.
Oh, no worries. So I think I have Julie moving and Frank seconding. So we're moving to adopt tonight's agenda. So Chairperson Greenlee.
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford,
Aye.
Commissioner Kern.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Sewell,
Aye.
and Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now we move on to approval of the minutes for September 14th, 2022. There's an attachment, and I hope everyone's read them. So does anyone want to approve these minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
And I second.
All right, great. So let's do our roll call again to approve the minutes of our last meeting. Chairperson Greenlee,
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford,
Aye.
Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Kern,
Aye.
Commissioner Sewell,
Aye.
and Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, citizens communications. Do we have any citizen communications?
We do not.
Okay. Moving on, presentations. We have an aquatics presentation.
Yeah, so tonight we have with us Jeff Franco, who is our aquatics coordinator. And we always feel that the end of our summer programming is a good time to do the aquatics presentation so we can give you kind of encapsulate a full year and our busiest time of year as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, and he will provide you with kind of an overview of aquatics programming and facility. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, Noreen. I'm going to share my screen because I have a presentation. Just to confirm, everybody can see that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so like Noreen mentioned, my name is Jeff Franco. I am a recreation coordinator in charge of the aquatics programming. Want to first show and share information about our swim lesson program from this past year and currently for 2022. This year, we brought back our spring classes. We weren't able to offer them spring 2021. So for our spring swim lessons, as well as our fall swim lessons, we offered 2 sessions, 2 4-week sessions on Sundays. And the statistics of participants are right there. So for spring of 2022, we had 85 participants, 79% resident, non-resident, 21%. For our summer swim lessons, we were able to increase our ratios back to the normal ratios from pre-pandemic numbers. So we had 454 participants. Of those, 43% were residents, 57% non-resident, which is about the same number as previous. And then for fall, which we're currently in right now, we have 97 participants. And as you'll see, participation is 100% Brisbane residents. How we do registration for our swim lessons, as well as for all of our recreation programs, we give a 2-week window to Brisbane residents prior to non-residents getting to sign up. So this year, this is actually the first time that our program was fully represented by Brisbane residents. We are finding, I've talked with other area supervisors, in that a lot of swim lesson programs are going quickly, and a lot of residents are taking a lot of swim lessons for their city. So we do recommend people from out of town try to, if there's no availability with us, try to pick up availability. So we just actually started our second session of fall lessons past Sunday, so it'll run. Over the summer, we offer 2 4-week sessions on Saturdays, and then 8 1-week sessions, Monday, Thursday classes. So Pool parties. Once again, this year, we were offering just private pool party rentals on Saturdays in 2-hour time slots. We had parties booked between March 12th and October 8th, which is a 31-week time span. And 100% of those weekends were booked. There wasn't, some of the weekends we had 2 pool parties. So there was a couple weekends where we didn't have a pool party, but based on the week that we had 2 pool parties scheduled, it added up to 100% of 31. We did also have end of the year school parties for Panorama's 5th grade class, PES's 5th grade class, and Litman's 6th class. This was the first year that Panorama had reached out to do an end of the year party. So moving forward, I assume they'll continue pool parties. So two of our big aquatics programs is lap swim and recreation swim. Lap swim has been since, well, this whole year has been drop-in based. Lap swim registration and lane registration ended at the end of last summer. So fall 2021, we reopened lap swim, and we're definitely busier than pre-pandemic numbers for lap. A lot of people found out about the Brisbane pool, and there's a lot of times that we're way busier. I feel even weekly, we get people calling or coming that say this is their first time coming to lap swim. They really enjoy our pool. I would say we have about 300 plus lap swimmers per week. And like I said, with new people joining all the time. We do offer monthly lap swim passes and average about 40 people who buy those per month. It does offer a discount on daily sign up per month. Rec swim. Last summer, we had capped our capacity at 75, just slowly coming back out of the pandemic. We have increased our capacity to double that to 150. And this past summer, our totals were upwards of 26 to 2,700 people came to rec swim over our summer period, averaging roughly 50 people per rec swim. There were about 10 to 12 times that we did come close to the 150 capacity. This summer tended to be a little bit cooler than other summers, so definitely if it's not very warm, we don't always get close. We did have a few capacity days this past early in the fall for Labor Day weekend when we had the heat wave, and we were able to put more staff on duty, and we were able to accommodate everybody who wanted to come to the pool. So we didn't have to turn away anybody when they're really hot. One of our other very successful programs at the pool is the water aerobics program. And we currently have monthly session-based classes. Classes are 3 to 4 days a week. Year-round, they're Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And from June through October, we have classes on Thursday nights as well. We do offer drop-in classes as well as the monthly class. And monthly classes, we range from the Thursday class gets an average of about 15 monthly sign-up, and the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're getting between 20 to 25 people signing up for the month. On top of that, we're getting anywhere from 5 to 9 drop-ins per class. So over the heat wave weekend, we had over 30 people in the water aerobics class, and actually today, Wednesdays are very popular days. We had, I think, 31 for the water aerobics class. So it continues to be a very successful program. And as you can see on the third bullet point, it is pretty split down the middle of Brisbane residents as well as other surrounding area residents. And we're consistently averaging close to 25 people per class. So it is a very popular program with like lap swim, with new people joining or inquiring about it every week or every couple weeks. We were able to offer special events again this year. Last year we didn't, so we have a few special events to go over. The first one over in July at the end of Park and Rec month, we had a teen glow in the dark swim night. The first picture on the left, where it was, we lit up. You can kind of see like along the back under the solar panels, the LED light. We had those all around the pool. The beach balls were lit up with LED lights. We had the lights were playing, like dancing to the music that we had. And we had about 30 teens that enjoyed the night swim. Because of that success, I'm gonna skip to the last bullet point. We installed 2 Friday night rec swims. So one Friday, September 9th, and one this upcoming Friday, 14th, from 7 to 8:30. Just another place for teens to come and swim. And the first one we had about 25 teens, and we have based on numbers, we have about that many 25 that are scheduled coming this Friday as well. So that will definitely be a program that we continue, or a night rec that we continue, probably starting up in the spring and potentially throughout the summer, because it is a popular program. The special event in the middle, Sharknado Jaws shark themed rec swim. We did, as a whole rec center, the whole rec department, celebrate Shark Week, the Discovery Channel Shark Week this year. So we decorated the pool office in Shark Week themed decorations. We had, and that's the picture in the middle, we had inflatable sharks that we put in the pool. We gave away the shark hats that you see on the staff photo. We did average about 50 people per day for that rec swim on that weekend. It was average weather, but people definitely did enjoy the shark themed weekend. The last special event that we just actually had it this past Saturday. We brought back our underwater pumpkin patch. This was our 5th pumpkin patch. We had the last one was in 2019. So this year we had 90 participants, and we at first lined the whole pool with pumpkins. As people came in, we had arts and crafts, and they could take pictures with the hay bales. We also had recreation coordinator Ricardo. He was there. I don't know if you saw some of the pictures on social media, in a blow up pumpkin suit for kids to take pictures of. So that was entertaining for the kids. About 20 minutes into the event, we felt like we had everybody there. Staff and adults threw in pumpkins, and then kids enjoyed swimming, playing, picking up the pumpkins. This picture on the right is some kids who decorated their pumpkins with stickers. So another success. We also have continued this year partnering with Littman Middle School in providing aquatics programming for them. Last spring and then this fall, which is just about wrapping up this Friday, we partnered with them for PE classes. They have teachers teach the water skills to the classes. When we first started this, I met with teachers and helped them create a curriculum to have baselines for each of the classes. And then on most Fridays for the PE classes, either myself or one of the aquatic staff go over some very basic lifeguard skills with them. Another program that we have currently, it's in the fall and then again in the spring, is the Junior Lifeguarding After School Club for Littman, and it's led by aquatic staff. This has been going on for probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now. And it used to get like maybe 10 kids. Now it's a program that I think it has 18 to 20 kids in it. And then there's a wait list of 10 more kids. So it's one of their most popular after school clubs. So on Wednesdays, the kids come to the pool between 2 and 3 and learn all different types of lifeguards. Here's a picture of our aquatic staff from the summer, as well as a picture of one of our staff trainings from the summer. We have aquatic staff. Right now, we have about 15 to 16 staff. Over the summer, we could have up to 25 staff, ranging from staff that have been with us for about 4 months to a staff member that's been with us for 9 years. So we have a very tight-knit group of staff, and they're a really good team. They're able to cover for each other, and they're very upbeat and friendly and professional. So this past year, the Park and Rec Department had conducted a needs assessment. So I just wanted to give you some of the feedback that was aquatics related. So some of the pros that we got from the survey, a lot of people mentioned excellent staff. We had people talk about clean facilities and a lot of space in the pool to move around. Water aerobics has been essential for a lot of people. The pool is well maintained and fun for kids. The pool is great, a real asset to the town. People enjoyed our swim lesson programs. Some of the cons or negative feedback, people did talk about the locker rooms, cleanliness. We have, since this survey, we have done a deep clean of our locker rooms with our janitorial company. So we did notice a big improvement there. And I have also discussed some of the concerns with our janitorial company. So we are seeing a big improvement locker room cleanliness. Some of the dislikes were the pool was dirty with leaves for a few months out of the year. This past year, we did have our vacuum was out of commission for about 2 or 3 months. We did get a small vacuum to supplement, and we did spot clean the pool, but now our main vacuum part did come in. Everything else, supply chain issue. So now we do have our main vacuum back. The pool that's used multiple times. Always clean. Another part of feedback, the baby pool was out of service for a good portion of before summer, but working with Public Works, we were able to get the chemicals balanced, water, clarity well. So starting at the beginning of summer, it's been open every rec. So just some of the, and I do look at all of the pros and cons and work with my staff and Park and Rec team to make sure that we're meeting all of that community. So new at the pool this year in 2022, the only real new thing that happened was early in the year, we had the exterior of the community pool building repainted. So it looked really sharp. I'm pretty sure it was the first time it was painted since it was opened. So it's really nice. Do you guys have any questions about aquatic program? For the question.
Is the pool heated?
It's heated to 79 to 81 degrees. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so it's a good it's a good happy medium for like sometimes the smaller kids for swim lessons. If it's a colder day, it'll be a little cold. But if we get too warm, then lap starts. So it's good happy medium for
Okay.
everybody. All-
I've been in it. I just never knew if it was heated.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Great job. I don't have questions, Jeff. I just have some feedback. Great job. You clearly have been busy this summer. I should actually probably say jawsome job. Get it? Huh? Yeah, but thank you so much for running us through this today. The pool is looking great. The paint job looks great, and it looks like we're back to business as usual when it comes to all the great programming. So thank you.
I have one parenting note. I noticed that the chemical truck comes kind of at the same time the kids are all walking to school. I don't know if that could be addressed because that's the walking portal for Littman. We've run into it a number of times, and it just seems a little dangerous per se.
I can bring that up with Public Works as they communicate with our chemical companies, and we can let them know the times the kids are walking, try to either have them come prior to or after that. That is
Thank you. Our family loves the pool and everything about it. So thanks, Jeff.
Anything else?
Thanks.
No, thank you.
You know where to find him.
Yeah.
And I will say, I love the picture in the lower left corner with the, looked like it was, I don't know what the bird is. I should know being a Californian, but that's
I
beautiful.
think it's a blue heron.
That's what I thought too, but what do I know?
I think so. That's we do have, well, over the pandemic we had ducks frequent the pool, and like we've had egrets come to the pool. We've seen hawks. I actually have a folder on my computer for birds.
Oh, that's
I
great.
like to throw them in presentation.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. I was like, man, that's just gorgeous.
We have a running joke internally. Whenever there's a bird at the pool, Jeff will take a photo and send it to me and ask me to identify it.
Hey, Jeff, I have a quick question, just
Yes.
last minute. But how has it been keeping the pool staffed? I know that in the past you had trouble getting people to work at the pool, just not enough people. But do you feel like you're well staffed and everybody feels like they're well paid? And you know, how is the staff doing?
Right now, I feel like I have a good number of staff. I think everywhere, every aquatic facility would love to have more. I have plenty of staff to cover all of our programming. My staff like to work a lot of hours. So like actually since I've started with the city, the staffing numbers, I've lowered it because staff wanted more hours. So the staff know now we have a smaller staff and they'll get more hours, but it may be, sometimes it's challenging for them to find substitutes. So I recommend them, if they know they have a day off, to look for a sub early on. So we're at a comfortable number, and like this summer, we had probably our smallest number of staff any summer, but they were a very close group and they all took care of each other and knew when somebody needed hours covered. So I think it works because they're all like, when they're at work, they're all friends.
Okay,
If I could just piggyback on that. So there is a nationwide lifeguard shortage, if you haven't already heard that in the news. And so a lot of our colleagues in neighboring agencies are really struggling with aquatic staffing. Many of them were unable to reopen after the pandemic due to staffing shortages. Many of them have slashed their operational hours. So I'm proud to say that that has not been the case for us. I think, you know, we are kind of the exception to what we see going on in our industry. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of our staff are locals or residents who have been part of the aquatics community for quite some time, and we've been able to retain them. And I think that's a testament to our leadership team. But also Jeff is strategic about facilitating lifeguard certification training courses a couple of times throughout the year, and that helps to kind of serve as a feeder program for staffing. So just wanted to add that.
Speaking of that, we do have a lifeguard class coming up the third weekend in November. It's the 18th through the 20th. I conduct the classes a Friday night and then all day on Saturday and Sunday. So we do have 3 people signed up for this class. We'll continue promoting it, and then I'll offer another class in early next year, February or March.
Okay, well, thank you for being on top of that. I know in the past you had, I don't know, I don't even think you were with us, but the pool really struggled with getting lifeguards, and I know everybody has been having trouble keeping, you know, staff, and the lifeguards that we seem to have seem like, yeah, like they're a good group of kids. I'm also really happy that the teens are discovering the pool and you're doing programs for them. That's a real plus, I think, for our community, because we don't have a lot of stuff the teens are into, and it seems like they really like your programs. So keep it up. That's
We're
wonderful.
excited about that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, is there anything else? Okay, so we will thank you and yeah, and move on to old business. We have an event debrief for the coastal cleanup. Who's going to do that?
That's still Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, you're into
You're going to
everything.
hear from him a lot tonight because he's also
All right,
going to be on
Jeff.
Thursday in the park and derby. So
Well,
Okay.
Jeff,
yeah.
Okay, so for the coastal cleanup day, which was the last weekend in September, we did it this year. In the past, it's been at the marine, at the lagoon. So we've had lagoon cleanup. This year, we toured the lagoon, and it actually looked really nice. Like there wasn't that much garbage all around it. So we did hear from the marina, some of the marina workers, that there were a few hot spots around the marina that definitely needed a cleanup. So we focused our coastal cleanup day at the marina down by the fishing pier, dock 6, so all the way over to the left. We had about 20 to 25 volunteers this year, which is about typical. And they spread out. We started off in that parking lot in the surrounding area, like grabbing trash out of bushes or along the water line. Halfway through the event, like all of our volunteers were so spread out, like they were spread out pretty much along the coastline of the marina, which was good because they had captured all the trash that was around our focus area. So then they reached out to look for more trash. The event went from 9:30 to 12:30. It's a collab event that we do, Park and Rec does with the Open Space and Ecology Committee. We had a significant amount of trash and recycling as well that we had picked up, sorted. We do provide t-shirts and lunch for the volunteers. So they're all very excited and energetic. And then at the end of the day, we reward them a t-shirt and then lunch. We got lunch from Julie's delegation. Yeah. You guys have any questions about the event? This is a California-wide coastal cleanup day event. So then we submit all of our numbers of how much, like pounds of trash and pounds of recycling, to the California Coastal Commission, and then they tally up the numbers that are cleaned up statewide for the whole.
Great. Did you have, oh, hello?
Hi.
Hey, did you have any coordination with the OSEC committee?
I personally didn't, but
Okay.
Adrian was at the event with me, and she had coordination with them.
Okay.
Any other questions?
How do people find out about these days?
We promote them on our social media platforms, so they're in the Star, the Luminary, the signboards, as well as email blasts. Or coastal, like California Coastal Cleanup Day, as well as Earth Day. Sometimes we don't even have to advertise because residents know that these events are going to be going on, and they look to us or call us to know when the events are happening.
Yeah. So do you have like organizations sign up and also individuals? I guess I'm just curious. Do you know who's ahead of time, even who's coming?
For this one, we didn't do a pre-sign up, but in the past we have had high school students that do volunteer hours. We have had groups from businesses come and volunteer in like for our events. So we do also partner with with San Bruno Mountain Watch for the Habitat Restoration Days. So we get an idea of, they do signups ahead of time. So for those events, we'll do pre-sign up, but for Coastal Cleanup Day, it was just people finding out and showing up on the day of.
Oh, that's crazy. That's great.
Yeah.
I actually did it this year for the first time in 5 years, and it was really fun to do. Just be out there again and just walk around and pick up cigarette butts everywhere. But I figured out everything. There's a place where all the guys that work there in construction go to smoke, because the person I brought with me says, why do we keep finding so many cigarettes? And then I finally figured it out. I said, see, it says no smoking on the sign. So they go outside the construction yard and smoke right here. So I took a can down for them to put the cigarette butts in. But it was fun. It was really fun.
A very rewarding event.
Yeah. Very.
You take pre-post pictures? I sometimes do when I weed.
I thought about it, but then my friend wanted to fish and my other friend wanted to get going. And I said, well, I'll take pictures later. And then we totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
We all spread out and didn't see each other for an hour.
At times we do. This one, trash was kind of spread around. There wasn't like a specific main area. So if I would have taken a picture, you would have seen some trash, but a lot of trash was hidden in like the bushes, in the medians, in the parking lot. So people are strategic of where they're putting their trash, out of sight, but still there. So we did collect a lot, and we had to hunt for some for sure. There's no other questions. Turn it back over to Lisa.
Okay. All right. So moving
Jeff.
on. Thank you so much, Jeff. That was great. And now Jeff again for the day in the park and the Derby, which I was there for that, and so was Frank. We represented a little bit of our department, but yeah, tell us how it went. I thought it went off really well. Go ahead.
So, Day in the Park and Derby is an event that the Park and Rec team plans. I feel we start planning it in early August, reaching out to potential vendors. Myself and Recreation Coordinator Ricardo Monroy take the lead, but then we branch out to pretty much all the recreation staff to plan different parts of the event. First, I'm gonna talk about the Brisbane Derby that takes place the first part of the day. It started at 8 in the morning. This year we had 26 people signed up. We had 2 different age groups, and it worked out perfectly that we had 13 racers in each age group. So it made the brackets equal. We did have, once again this year, Dan Carter and Stu Cochran volunteered. Dan is our main volunteer, starting all of the races. And then Sue cheers them on as they come down the hill. And then she's the finish line official as well. So we really appreciate their help in the implementation and running of the Brisbane Derby. We only had 1 crash this year. Well, that's a good thing. we do have hay bales lining the street. So it was a soft crash. They crashed into the hay bales. So only one crash this year. But overall, a very successful event. Lots of fun pictures were taken, lots of very creative cars, decorations, as well as styling. I was not there for the actual derby. Our recreation coordinator, Scott, took the lead for the derby. I helped a little bit with setup and then putting the hay bales back on the truck, but I was there the weekend before for the derby practice, and definitely some very good cars and some motivated kids getting ready for the race. Any questions or comments on the Brisbane Derby before I switch gears to Day in the Park?
I was there for the last, probably maybe like the last hour, and it just was so much fun to watch. And there was like photo finishes. Literally, they filmed them as they crossed the line, and just like drama when one person's car didn't work and she came down the hill. I don't know what happened. It's just, and then I think there was one family that participates pretty heavily that I was standing kind of near them. It was just a really fun morning. Like even just standing there watching and not knowing anybody, I still had a great time. Super fun.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Okay.
and thanks to Dave also for bringing the hay bales and doing that.
Yes.
He's always good for that.
Yes.
So there you go.
And the volunteer team.
Yes.
And Sue and
Oh
Yep,
yeah.
She does make things a little more fun wherever she is.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was a great event this year.
Okay, so moving on to the Day in the Park event debrief. This year we had 37 vendors participate in the event, from arts and crafts vendors to community booth vendors to commercial or informative vendors. So that was back to the highest numbers we've had for this event in the 6 years that I've been implementing it and planning it. So every year it seems we change up the layout a little bit based on like what vendors we have or what part of the park to utilize. This year we did have a lot of positive feedback on lining both sides of the park with community booths. So this will be a layout that we use moving forward. On top of, in some of the vendors, we did have 3 food vendors. We had the Lions Club making their tri-tip sandwiches and their barbecue, as well as Silver Spot had a food vendor who was making popcorn and I believe cotton candy as well. Then we did have one food truck, Walk Kitchen, there as well. They, when food trucks come, they always charge a minimum. So their minimum was $1,500, and that day they made $1,900. So they made over their minimum. So the city didn't owe them any money after the event. So it was a very successful event for a food truck for here at Brisbane. We also had the beer and wine garden that was hosted by the Best PTO. And this year we had a plastic fence around the beer garden, so really established where that area was, and it was right near the food area as well. Every time I looked over, was walking around, it was a very popular area of the event. During Day in the Park, we do have the mayor announced the Volunteer of the Year. So I do want to congratulate June Huebner again for winning Volunteer of the Year this year, announced at the Day in the Park. We did have a lot of kids activities. This year we had 11 carnival games out on Old County Road with the red and white tents. They were all pretty well attended. Next to that, the carnival games were mostly run by the YAC, the youth
Advisory committee?
Youth Advisory Committee. Thank you.
That's it.
And they did a great job organizing the game and running all of them. We did also have a 18-hole miniature golf course around the curve on Old County Road as well. And that was pretty much utilized throughout the day. It was very busy around the end of the event, we noticed. So that was a new activity. We did have that miniature golf course in July for Park and Rec Month, and it was popular that day, so we wanted to bring it back for Game Park. We did have 2 rounds of a pie eating contest for kids, which was very exciting. And this year we had custom ribbons made by our very own Commissioner Lisa. So thank you very much.
And excellent, very professional judges, Frank and Lisa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Couldn't do it without you.
We actually weighed the pies, didn't we, Frank?
We did our best, yes.
We did our
Very
best.
scientific. And then this year, after the pie eating contest, we did have a performance by our Tahitian dance group that practices at the Mission Blue Center with most weeks. We had the adult group and the youth group, and that was well attended as well, and very nice performance. Overview of the event, I talked with Ricardo earlier today. We feel that it was one of the biggest we've had and well attended. So like every time we looked around, there was people at pretty much all the booths at any given time. Like the jump house, we also had a jump house for kids as well on the other side of the park. So another kids entertainment. There was just people all around. And when I heard that the success of the food truck, like I wasn't able to go over there too much, but I was very excited that they did well as addition to the rest of the event.
I know that the Lions Club sold out of the
Yeah.
tri-tip also.
Yeah, that I was that all day, and they did very well. So
Good.
Awesome.
in fact, they ran out early. So
That's good. Yeah, we're just very happy with the event, and it seems like all the feedback we've had so far has been very positive, and it's just a great community event for Brisbane, and we were excited to have so many of the community groups reach out and want to participate. So, any questions or comments from Commissioner?
Well, I think coming back from the pandemic, people were really ready to be at our festival. Did we even have one last year?
We did, yes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we had maybe about 20 vendor booths, and we did kind of space them out so they were in pods of about 5 around the park. So we were able to kind of enclose the whole park this year. So it was the same, but we couldn't have like jumpy houses for kids entertainment. So there was differences.
Right. And I think that, but did we have the pump track last year?
We did have
did.
a pump track.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that was fabulous. I didn't make it out to that one, but yeah, I think that it was really a nice, well-attended thing, which is my main goal when planning this thing, was to make it well-attended, to make it not just something that people are bored with going to because they know it's going to be there. You know, it seemed like there was some innovation happening and mixing it up a little bit with the different areas felt nice and fresh, and it was great. I do think that it would be great if we could have gotten one, we did have the golf course, but the pump track was fabulous that one year. And I always like the kind of bigger attractions for the kids and the adults. And we just couldn't afford that this year. So, but I think for the money that we had to spend on this event, I think it was successful in that, and the weather was gorgeous. The weather was just really hot and fabulous. It felt like a summer day, and it was really nice. So congratulations. Well done, staff. You guys look like you were all having a fun time. So that was good. I know it was a lot of work. You guys show up super early to set up, and but it was well done. And because it was so hot, I know we can't predict that, but it would have been nice to have a few more umbrellas or places where people could get out of the sun. But you can't predict that. I mean, it could have been a totally cloudy day and we would have never used anything. So there you go. Any other comments from people?
Yeah, just some feedback. I thought it was a fantastic event. Kudos to staff. I know you guys are out there hustling from the crack of dawn and the entire day, so well done. It felt really great this year to have the quantity of tents set up. There was so much to discover this year. It took me probably 3 times as long to walk all the way around as it did last year, so that was fantastic. Lisa, was the beer garden your idea?
Yes, I lobbied hard for the beer garden, even though I don't drink beer.
Okay.
I thought the adult area for adult beverages just makes it, a little more attractive to some of the older people, because a lot of times people will think, I'm not going to go down there. It's just a bunch of kids, And so I wanted something for adults to do.
Well, I do drink beer, Lisa, and it was really nice to be able to get one there. And although I didn't really understand the fence because we were all just walking around the entire event with our beers, so I don't know if we were supposed to stay inside of there, but no one stopped us. So I didn't know what the fence was for. Is that just to define the space?
Yeah, it was just a suggestion or to create a beer garden area, but and we did have umbrellas and cocktail tables in there, so a place to hang out. But you could walk around the whole event.
Okay.
So you didn't break any rules.
Mostly kept kids out, not adults in.
That makes sense.
Overall, it was just really great this year. So kudos to everybody who worked on it.
I'd like to call out the YAC kids working the booth, having younger kids that look up to these kids. They were so enthusiastic, and it's probably not what they wanted to be doing that day, but they were all so enthusiastic and really great volunteers, and gives me hope for our future.
Yeah.
So I just want to call them out.
We did have about half of the YAC kids were there even through the end of the event, and they were running around side by side with staff, cleaning up tables, chairs, helping take down all the pop-up tents. So on top of running all of the carnival games, they were a big help in throughout the whole event, and especially with cleanup. Cleanup went, I think we were done in less than an hour because of all the help we had, them included.
We got to look out, staff. We got to look out, team. They're coming our way.
Yes.
They are remarkable individuals, I have to say. We're so fortunate to have them.
I know, what a great resource for all of our events. You just need some extra hands. You're like, call out the YAC, They're fabulous. And, kids, when you put them in volunteer situations at that age, I don't know, my son just took to it. It's like, oh yeah, we get to help. And it just gives them a really good sense of purpose. And plus they get volunteer hours. It's a win-win.
They get to test run being an adult without the responsibility. Well.
Okay, anybody else on the day in the park?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we're moving on. How about new business? It says NA.
No new business for tonight's agenda.
Okay, reports. What is a chairperson report? What do I report? I'm the chairperson.
Whether or not you have anything that you want to add that isn't on the agenda already.
Oh, okay. I can't think of anything. We're pretty packed. Okay, subcommittees. Let's talk about all these subcommittees. The Public Art Advisory Committee had meetings on 9/19, 9/26, and 9/27. Did anyone attend those?
I did the first meeting with was that Burlingame?
Belmont?
Belmont. Yes. I guess what I took away from that was we're really lucky that we have so much money, because they're really starting on a shoestring. And we kind of alluded to the fact that we had actually already a pool of money And it was a big relief to our volunteer that was giving us the information. And I thought it was really encouraging just to hear the small projects that they're starting without, such a big bureaucracy. They were able to like decorate all the poles for the soccer stadium, the light poles. And, with this art, this beautiful art on each light pole, not everybody is at a soccer game wants to like watch soccer. So, inexpensive and a great first step. And I think I walked away feeling like we could take on a small project, before we get everything in place. And maybe that would be a good way to get our hands wet and move on. I was disappointed I missed the second meeting. I couldn't make it because I thought that was going to be a really impressive meeting. So I don't know if anyone was there to speak about that. I'd love to be caught up on it because I felt that the day one of that outreach was really, really inspiring. I learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to hearing what happened on day two with San Diego.
Were you there for that, Lisa?
Well, unfortunately, all of the emails for these meetings went to the wrong email box in the city, and I never knew any of these meetings were happening.
Oh, no. Okay.
People thought I skipped out on them, but it was like, no, I didn't even know they were happening. And so that, I tried to figure out what happened because I didn't find out until after. And then it was like, okay, they figured out that it was going to my city email instead of, and it just kept defaulting to that, even though it was fixed. It just kept, so I didn't know. But from what I've heard is that these meetings have been recorded and you can watch them. And so I'm going to sit down and grab a glass of wine and watch them at some point. And I asked, if there's any future meetings coming up, and I guess not in the near future. Do you know of any other meetings that are coming up? Anybody for the Arts Commission? No.
I do not. Stuart's the staff liaison for that, so I can certainly follow up with him and then circle back with you and Lisa. And just for some added context, I know what Tom was talking about with Belmont and San Diego, where they had spoke to representatives from those agencies about a public art master plan. So they're kind of embarking on this process of master planning for public art in the city, and speaking to other cities and agencies that have a similar master plan document to use as a form of reference. So I think there's probably a lot more to come in that realm, but I will definitely circle back with Stuart and let you guys know, make sure that you're getting proper information regarding any future upcoming meetings.
Yeah, I should have had it on my calendar, but no, it just didn't even happen. So that's disappointing. Okay, moving on. We had the Sierra Point Open Space and Parks Master Plan Subcommittee was held on 9/26. The Sierra Point Open Space, was that where we went out to look at the, no.
No, so Trudy is the representative from the commission for that subcommittee. It's a subcommittee with council members and representatives from the other advisory bodies, including open space and ecology, public art, and so forth. So you want to share from that meeting, Trudy?
Sure. It was kind of interesting because everybody that participated had a different idea of what to do out there.
Oh, I went to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out there. Okay. I know we're
No,
talking.
I'm talking about the meeting itself.
Yeah.
We were talking about what to put out there.
Yeah.
And it seemed like everybody wanted art. And I can understand that. The fellow that put on the meeting from the company that was contracted to put together this plan, he seemed to really understand what to do out there. The only thing I didn't understand, and I still don't, and I've gone out there a few times on my own and walked around, is we didn't really have a blueprint of where the buildings will be built up to there. So, we have our little space, which I call the V, because I keep going out there and looking at it, and it's kind of shaped in a V. And so, things will go on and people will talk. And there were some people wanted more bike trails, and I think we should have wider bike trails, because I almost got run over twice doing the coastal cleanup. And so that was kind of interesting. It was just mainly us giving ideas. And you were at that one, Lisa, where he wanted to do the Post-it notes, and we were like, ah. So we just remember that. And I'm going to learn how to do that before we ever have another meeting. But he just kind of wanted ideas, I felt, from everybody else. You know, he's sure he has his own concept. Everybody does. That's why he wouldn't be in that business if he didn't have that. But he seemed to want to know what everybody wanted. And it was kind of interesting how everybody has their own little niche that they like. So once I see what the blueprint, where it goes out to, then it would be easier to, figure out, gee, what goes where. I don't know how you feel, Lisa. You were at that meeting.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I was at the same meeting. Was that where we all got on the I think I was at it. I went to the, okay.
You went to the first meeting where we went to
wasn't-
the site?
If it was a different meeting that Trudy was at. She's
Yeah.
the sole representative from our commission.
Okay, because I was not at that one. I was at the one where we actually went out with the site with some city council people and staff, and just looked at the site and just thought, wow, we own this. This is cool, and what can we do?
Mhm.
But I wasn't at that other meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, Cliff Lentz was. He had quite a few ideas, mainly
Oh, good.
wide. He wanted more bike paths, but I say wider, not more.
I agree. I have been hit on
So
that.
I've got a scar on my arm from getting hit right here in Brisbane down at the village. A kid that I knew his mother, and he just was coming down, the sidewalk on his bike, and I stopped him with my arm. And whenever I see his mother, she always says, "Do you still have the scar?" So, yeah,
No,
I
I was standing in the trail with my dogs and an elderly couple, and we were standing there talking, and this guy comes flying around the corner.
Yeah.
And he actually crashed into one of my dogs and then crashed himself really badly into a bush.
Oh.
And then he yelled at us for being on the trail. And it was like, dude, this is not, he's like, this is a commuter trail. And this is this is my bike lane, That just can't be. And we all know that we have to share the trail, but some bikers and some whatever. Anyways, so I agree. It should be wider. And there should be designated bike areas so people don't get hit.
Yeah.
That's my only issue. But it
So
is exciting to have this space, and who knows what'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting to think about it, of what could go down there, and there were a lot of ideas that day or that evening. But what I came away with is that he took our suggestions and he's going to put something together, and then we will meet again.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was really just the preliminary meeting of that committee group, and it was really to kind of gauge the values of the space from the committee members, kind of float some ideas out there and hear from the subcommittee about how they envision the space. But moving forward, they were also out at Day in the Park. CMG is the consultant that's working on the project for us. And so they were out at Day in the Park kind of as a first step into public engagement regarding this process. And so they're wrapping up their initial stage, which is task one, which is discovery, where they're identifying, doing all the site reconnaissance, identifying the constraints of the site. They'll put that into a document, which will then be reviewed again by the subcommittee. They'll begin drafting kind of alternative conceptual designs, engaging the public and getting feedback through workshops and surveys. So there's a lot more to come on this project, and there will be multiple opportunities for this commission, as well as the other city advisory boards, to give input and have their voices be heard before the master plan is really drafted, and that will come back to city council. We're anticipating kind of early spring timeline for that. So stay tuned. Over the next several months, there'll be a lot coming your way with regards to that project.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Sounds like we should connect the dots to the art committee too, since there was some great art ideas.
They do have a representative on the subcommittee.
We should definitely get one. Let's get two on there.
yay.
Yeah, one's enough.
Okay, is that it for that committee?
Yes.
All right, moving on to the Trails Development Subcommittee, which was held on 10/11, which was just yesterday. And so that meeting was fresh in my mind. It was me and Frank and
Renee.
Renee and staff, I believe. And it was a really good meeting. Renee, you haven't said much. You want to give your impressions of the meeting? How you felt it went?
Oh, I think it went okay. Yeah, I thought it was actually, it went fine. So what was presented to us was just actually a fairly detailed plan of what might be done primarily with Crocker Trail. And so it included, I think it's been my understanding, you should correct me if I'm not right about this, Noreen, is that we have a grant of around 800,000 already in place, and maybe another 200,000 for the path. Is that
For the
right?
researching specifically.
Yeah, right. And so I think things are being prioritized with the resurfacing of the path first, kind of like when you remodel your home. The floors first. And so, and then I think that the plan includes, potentially, so you guys are going to you're going to be able to tell what I care the most about. Artwork along certain parts of the path. And so we'll be reaching out to different building landlords to see if they'd be interested in allowing us to commission some wall murals. We're imagining a pump track kind of at the far end of Crocker Trail that I just think would be a fabulous addition and kind of help gather cyclists at a certain part of the trail rather than having them spread out throughout the whole thing. And then potentially some exercise spots along the trail, which I'm especially excited about that. But I think that they'd be, somewhere around a quarter or a half a mile apart along the trail. And these, I think these will unfold over the next, my guess is 5 to 10 years is probably what my guess is. We didn't really talk about timelines, but anyway, I think, my understanding is prioritization right now is just getting it repaved. And I think the pavement material, it won't actually be concrete. It'll be some other material that I'm going to have to look to Noreen to tell us what that was.
It's like crushed fines.
Okay, yeah. And I think, we're waiting for something called a CEQA assessment that will just kind of environmental impact, I think, of some of the work that we're initially planning. So yeah, once that goes, then we'll, at least the path resurfacing will be able to go forward. I think that'll be fantastic. I can't wait to see how it goes. So super excited about that.
That is just great. It all sounds wonderful. What is the timeline for the resurfacing?
It's the majority of the funding is based on a federal grant, and they're anticipating receiving that federal funding the earlier part of the fiscal year for 2023, so summer 2023, and then they can conduct the work after that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we talked also a little bit about certain, we can't get everything we want all at once, but we can plan for stages of how we can see this happening, and possibly working with the Arts Commission to maybe take some of our art money to commission some murals on those wonderful big surfaces that are all along the Crocker Trail. And also, we could go crazy. The plan that was drawn up by the consultant was really exciting and had lots of features, but we all realized that we really can't have everything we want all at once. So we're trying to figure out what small steps we can actually achieve and say, okay, this is moving forward. This is moving forward. This is achievable. And it's interesting because, the pump track sounds amazing, but we know that we're not going to be able to get that pump track moved forward until a lot of other things happen. And so because of that, we kind of feel like that project is like a world of its own and is going to need its own proponents to get done. But again, we would like to move things forward. So getting this resurfacing and by resurfacing, delineating those areas where maybe that exercise equipment might be, just keeping in mind what might happen in the future as we resurface kind of gives us a basis to work off of. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think Noreen called out that she's going to try and squeeze into the resurfacing project as much as she possibly can, which may or may not include additional seating or additional things along those lines. So I'm sure Noreen will work some magic when it comes down to that day. So.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that though. It's actually the Public Works team. But they know that they have referenced the master plan and they know kind of our wish list and desires. And if there is funding remaining within what's been allocated, they will try to accomplish some of those things.
Me and Frank are going to get out with spray cans and make mile markers on the road. No, we were saying, like, what can we do? The mile markers. If we just got mile markers on the trail, it would be super easy to get done, and we could do it. So we're trying to think of things that we could actually do and get done, and that was one of them. So that was fun.
Yeah, so the resurfacing is no small feat, folks. That's a pretty big endeavor, but it's step one. So it's exciting. It's not the glamorous piece of this, but it is a very necessary piece. So very excited about it.
We also talked a little bit about safety and lighting, which, we're going to try and update on the thing and not make it too intrusive, because everybody really kind of likes the naturalness of the trail. But a little bit of lighting would be good, and safely crossing the streets. I think that study has been done, and we're going to try and put that into action also. Okay, so that was a great meeting. We really focused on that project. I don't think we talked about any other trails too much, because that one's a pretty big one that's pending, and so we really tried to focus on that one.
There was some conversation regarding the feedback received through the needs assessment survey that was with regards to trails.
Right, we did, and actually the Quarry Road and the Loop Trail were 1 and 2 on people's minds as something that they want to develop. So here you go. Okay, moving on. The Festival of Lights Subcommittee, that's coming up. Oh my gosh, it's almost the holidays. Was it held today?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, report away.
Trudy, do you want to? Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
So we really just had it, so it is very fresh in our mind. I think the number one thing we really talked about was just the tree situation, because we're in between trees, as it were. So Noreen mentioned that someone from the community had approached her, and they have like a fairly large 20-foot tree, like a mall tree that comes like pre-lit and decorated, and they're willing to donate it for that. So we said, well, let's jump on that. That sounds like a very good thing for us to have, given everything that's happening. So we talked about, that was the one big one. The other one was whether to continue with the kind of car parade or to go back to caroling. And I think the feeling was, let's go back to the caroling.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to do it this year. I think people are like better equipped to manage COVID risks. And so we would like to go back to do that and, kind of have the caroling happened as it used to pre-COVID, and have the tree all lit and the gazebo decorated. And there will also be a very cool feature for children. It's like it's not a bouncy house, but it has a roller slide that looks like
toboggan.
A toboggan.
That was it. A toboggan.
So that looks super fun. And then hot chocolate and cider and cookies. We're going to check into getting some of the choir from Littman, or some kind of music supplement. And also, I think a really important point is to bring this to the idea committee and just make sure we're being as inclusive as possible with all of these ideas. So we're going to invite them to kind of share ideas on what we can do to make the event as inclusive as possible. And I think those were the main things. Trudy, anything I missed?
The gazebo will be decorated. Santa will be in the gazebo, and you'll be able to take pictures with Santa. And the inflatable toboggan. Oh, and the previous Christmas tree, the limbs are at the library, and soon they will be branding them, and then they will be available. I'm going to check that tomorrow to see exactly how you do that, get a limb. And let's see what else. Oh, we were going to ask if the company does decide to donate this tree to us for this year. It was brought maybe some artwork from the kids in Brisbane to hang on the tree.
Yeah, we want to make it uniquely our own, so
Yeah.
it's not just a generic, but like something that would add a Brisbane to it.
Yeah. So, like make their little things with stars or something like that. But, something where the kids are a part of it too. And that's all the notes I have. You covered everything that I wrote down. So we're good.
Thank you, Trudy. Yeah. And any other comments or questions?
No, but I hear what you're saying about inclusiveness because, Christmas is Christmas, but this is supposed to be kind of a holiday theme. And it would be nice if we could somehow, even in our caroling, bring in some other songs rather than your average Christmas carols. And, maybe even have some performances of other cultures would be nice. We
only have 2 hours.
Yeah. Only 2 hours. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But, and who's going to be leading? I mean, we used to have Renee as our MC. Do we have a new MC?
Who's Renee?
Not
Renee
yet. I think it kind of depends on, yeah. I think it kind of depends on what the program at the park looks like and whether that will be staff led or if we want to get somebody from the community.
Okay.
Yeah, but I totally agree, Lisa. I think it's, I'm really excited about the ideas. I think of performances, poetry reading, anything that like kind of just in that inclusive spirit, I think would be really nice to have to bring everyone together and represent the whole community.
Right. I think in the past, although 2 hours is pretty short, we used to have a dance performance from Brisbane Dance Workshop. Remember the flash dance they did last year? That was fabulous.
I'm connecting with Camille next week about how BDW will be involved this year.
Wonderful. Okay, sounds like you got all the parts nailed down. That's wonderful. Anything else on the Festival of Lights?
Here's a preview of the toboggan sledding thing.
Oh my goodness, that looks wonderful.
Must play in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's
ride on
exactly
these
what I
little-
thought.
On these little sleds, they ride all the way down through the tunnel. Pretty cute.
Woohoo!
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's better than the snow globe.
Well, that's the snow globe, I think, has run its course, so it's time for something fresh.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, I'd love to help with the tree. If you guys need any help decorating the tree, we could maybe have like a weekend where we get together and do ornaments at the library or something with kids. I'd be happy to.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I love it too. I was we started the whole thing where the tree was dying and our kids went down and started putting stuff up and little notes and stuff. I'd love to be involved in that. And then Lisa, about inclusiveness, I wonder if the art committee could maybe have an artist every year do something they could light up that's part of their culture, every year in that spot, something to think about on a small scale. That might be interesting.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to explore that. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think what an artist would do.
It's up to the artist, right? I mean, that's the beauty. It's their interpretation. We probably have to take a look at it first.
Yeah. No, I like
It's a
that.
nice way
idea.
to be inclusive, right? And I
Right.
think people really miss that tree for whatever it symbolized for them personally, but maybe that spot can be still honored in some certain way. I miss it.
What is that? I was just reading about that social justice nonprofit downtown that connects the art to social causes, and now I'm blanking on their name.
Lyrical Opposition.
Lyrical Opposition. I wonder if they might have anything to contribute.
It certainly wouldn't help to ask. Wouldn't hurt to
I
ask.
just texted Nicole like 2 minutes ago.
Excellent.
We're on the same page.
Okay, well, I like that thinking outside the box because I think that would be really make it a little more, bring it into the modern age. I think it'd be fun. Okay, well, anything else? So you guys, if you're gonna have any ornaments for that tree that you need help with, just give me a call. I'd be happy to set something up. Next on the agenda is setting subcommittee meetings. Recreational Facility Committee meeting is scheduled for 10/19. That's next week. Ooh, I'm not going to be able to make that one. Am I on that committee?
Let me share my.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Yay. Okay.
Remember, you quit us.
I did. I was on it a long time.
It makes me feel
No, it's
bad
it's
that you're
just
not
Tom and I
sure
next
what-
week.
Yeah, I'm not, like, I don't
Okay.
remember what committees I'm on either.
Can you see my share screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's the only one on the book between now and our next commission meeting.
Okay.
I might suggest, I mean, I'm open to hearing what the commission thinks about scheduling meetings and which may be essential between now and our November meeting. But I would probably suggest another follow-up Festival of Lights meeting, at least in November before the event.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
Do you guys want to do that through email or you want to try and nail it down tonight?
Let's do it through emails because I got to look and see what's going on with me.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's a good idea. I think everything else is kind of running towards the end of the year. We've already done a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Now we're just kind of running into the holidays. November, December.
yeah, I don't think there's anything overly time sensitive or pressing, just the Festival of Lights Subcommittee.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's just leave it at that. The recreational facility, meeting is on the 19th, so that'll happen. Is there any reports from commissioners? Nope. Anyone? Okay. Any reports from staff?
Yes, just a few things. So we have registration open for our Thanksgiving and winter camps. We also have registration open for our parent night out events. We have one coming up on the 22nd of this month, and our last one of the year will be December 10th. Parents usually fill up the December event with holiday dates and
Aw,
a gift shopping. So that one tends to be
extravaganza.
pretty popular. Several of you are signed up for the San Mateo County Commissioner Workshop this Saturday in Burlingame. Check-in begins at 8:30. I will see y'all there. Just to piggyback on the conversation about the Sierra Point master planning. So we're working with the consultant to fine tune a public engagement survey. We're hoping to have that come out at the end of this week within the city manager's blast, if not early next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll be pushing that out through all of our platforms to get the word out and have the community's voice be heard. I did want to share a staffing change within our department so that the commission is informed. One of our rec coordinators, Scott Morris, who oversaw our after-school program, has stepped back from his full-time position with the city. He's been wonderful for our department and wonderful for our programs over the last couple of years. He was relatively new to a full-time position in our department when the pandemic began and got quickly thrown into running our preschool program when we hired him for our after-school program. And so he's newly married. He got married last month or the month before. And so he has chosen to kind of step back from working full time to explore the world and figure out his passion and spend time with his new wife. But we're happy to say that he is staying on board with our team in a part-time capacity. So you'll still see him around. It's a loss for us, certainly, to not have him in a full-time capacity, but there's some relief in knowing that he's still part of our Park and Rec family. So I wanted to share that adjustment with you. We have Angela, who's one of our rec leaders. She's been part of our after-school program for the last 4, maybe going on 5 years. So she's very knowledgeable, has great rapport with parents and with the kids. So she's stepping in to fill Scott's shoes on an interim basis for the next several months. So you may see her a little bit more than normal, but just wanted to share that staffing change with you so that you're aware. And then finally, upcoming events. We're never at a loss for events. We like to punish ourselves. So this Friday night is our rec swim at the pool. We have karaoke at the Sunrise Room coming up on the 21st. We have, a co-sponsored event with the Excelsior Running Club. They have the half marathon on San Bruno Mountain, which will be on October 22nd. I think that's the same day that the Lions Club has their 5K and pumpkin patch and flu shots, if I'm correct. Okay. Renee's nodding her head, so I'll take it. So it'll be a busy day in town that day. And then we have our Howl, Howl, Oween at the dog park on dog costume party on October 26th. We also have our next senior trip to Roaring Camp Railroads coming up on October 27th. And then finally, our star decorating workshop on November 18th, which will be held at Mission Blue. And I'm not even going to get into the December event. So we'll pester you with all of those in November.
Wow.
There's a lot happening. So thank you all for your ongoing support. And that's the end of my staff report.
Okay, moving on to commission matters. Are there any written communications?
No, not tonight.
Okay, the 2022 calendar. Commission calendar, there's an attachment.
That's in the agenda packet.
That's in
So
the packet, yep.
nothing overly noteworthy there, except that we have slated for our November meeting seniors program presentation.
Okay. And our next regularly scheduled meeting will be November 9th, 2022. And I hope to see you all there. And with that, I think this meeting is over. Is there anything else anyone wants to add before we call it a night? Nope. Okay, let's all say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you all
you.
for being
Thank you,
here. Thank you
everyone.
for all your work.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.